Hi, I'm Dan Hernandez. I'd like to thank you for picking up this DVD on trout fishing. In this DVD, you're going to learn techniques for catching trout. And it doesn't matter if you're up in the high Sierras or in some other state other than California or in an inner city lake like where I'm standing right now. All these techniques will work for catching trout. So sit back and enjoy this DVD on how to catch trout. This next segment you're going to watch was filmed at Rock Creek Lake up in the eastern high Sierras. But I just want you to keep in mind, doesn't matter where you're fishing for trout, these same techniques for bait fishing, the same rigs, the same baits will work anywhere that you are. Doesn't matter if you're in an inner city like where I'm standing right now, or if you're out in a far country lake, or even in a different country. These same techniques, the same rigs will work to catch rainbow trout wherever you're fishing. Well, today we're up in the beautiful high Sierras, and standing next to me is Brandon Parker. Brandon, where exactly are we right now?
We're at Rock Creek Lake, which is in the eastern Sierra, just north of Bishop. A beautiful lake. I grew up fishing here. We're going to have a great day.
And we're kind of in between Bishop and Mammoth?
And Mammoth, right.
Kind of almost in the middle there.
Yep,
not too far from Lake Crawley.
15 minutes north of Bishop and 15 minutes south of Mammoth.
Cool. And we're going to do some fishing here today. We're going to look for rainbow trout, maybe a brown. You never know what to expect.
Brook brown rainbows.
So it looks awesome. So it's just a beautiful place to fish. As a kid, I used to come up here in the high Sierras a lot and fish. I know you've done it a lot.
Yeah, I grew up fishing here, live here now, and love fishing up here. It's a beautiful place.
Cool. There he is. Just bait fishing. I got some gulp eggs and a power bait worm. And I just hooked my first fish of the day. First cast. Here he comes right here. Let's see what he is. There he comes. All right.
Nice. That's a nice sized fish.
Yeah. And all these fish are stocked in here. All these lakes up here, like this lake, is basically a put and take lake.
Yep.
So they want people to take these home, so we're going to take some of these home to eat. You can see that worm sticking out of his mouth. That's one of the power worms by Berkeley. And down a little bit deeper are the eggs. And that's an egg. That's a gulp egg. Beautiful rainbow trout. All right, so you can get another one. There he is. He's there. There he is. Ooh, feels nice. Brandon, I think it's time to forget about the fly, man.
I'm on it. Forget that technique. Go with what's working.
There he is. Oh, this is a bigger fish. This is the biggest one so far. Nice rainbow. It's a beautiful fish. This is what we're trying to catch. And you can see the worm there in his mouth. That's why I'm fishing that power worm. And they had the eggs on there. This is a nice fish. It's a quality fish. I want to keep some of these to take home to eat. It's a nice fish. Well, what I'm doing right now is fishing 2 rods. In California, you can buy a tag, a stamp actually for your license. It's a 2-rod stamp. And with that you can fish 2 rods. And I have one on bait with power bait. And the other one I have thrown an artificial lure. And I can fish 2 with, bait rods, but this is kind of fun to throw a lure out there from time to time. I caught one on both techniques already. And Brandon, why'd you pick this spot? What's so unique about this area of the lake?
In any of the high Sierra lakes, when you go fishing there possibly for the first time, ask where the inlets are to the lake. At this particular spot, we've got 3 inlets. There's 2 over to my left and there's 1 over to my right. The trout like to sit right on the edge of the lines where it turns from a light to a dark and wait for food that comes in from the inlets. So if you have the opportunity to fish an inlet at any of the high Sierra lakes, that's the first place to go.
And these are all like natural inlets from
the
streams, all with melt off.
Correct,
and all that.
yeah, higher elevation lakes that flow into this lake That's where all the water's coming from. And the fish, you'll just have schools of fish just sitting right on the edge of these banks. That's why we're getting a lot of hits right when we come into right off the brown part of the lake here. Anytime I go to a new lake in the Sierras, I look for the inlet. All right, I'm gonna get my line out here and get another one.
Yeah, come join me, catch a fish.
I'm on it.
There we go. There's another one.
I can't sit there.
Come on, Brandon, put on some power bait, man. It's wide open.
It's all right.
Brandon's gonna try to get one on a fly. He's determined.
Well, we're catching so many fish on the power bait, one after another. I'll try a different technique.
Okay.
Ooh, another good one.
Hey, Brandon. So today we're up here in this high mountain lake. Yesterday you had us at Crawley, and we got a few fish there, and then we went to the Owens up there, right just above it, and we got a few more fish there. And here we are, High Mountain Lake today, at Rock Creek Lake, and it's just the variety that you could do. I mean, we could have come up here yesterday too and get it all done in one day, but you know, we went and had a nice little dinner.
Exactly.
But it's just amazing, and you know, from here to Crawley, it's only what, 10 miles at the most?
It's about a 15-minute drive.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful little drive.
Oh yeah. Nope, that's one beauty about the Sierras is you have a lot of different ways and means of fishing. We can fish the rivers, we can fish the lake.
There goes our fish. He's gonna swim away. There he goes. He released himself. Perfect. Here's a little treble hook that I'm using right here. A little Eagle Claw treble hook. And all I'm gonna do is put on some power bait. And you always bring a selection of bait with you. And they have different types. Got the turbo. The gulp eggs have been working really good. That's what I have on the other rod with the worm. On this one, I'm just gonna go traditional. This is power bait with the garlic scent. And you just, you know, grab a little piece of it like that, and you just ball it up. Put it right over the hook. And that power bait's got a great scent. The fish bite it and they really taste really good. But if you want to add a little kicker to it, you can go ahead and put some of this trout scent attraction on it. Just put a little bit on there. And the fish I've been using, you know, catching, I haven't even been using the trout scent that much, but lakes like this, it really helps to drag a scent. Just gonna cast this out there. Right along the edge there. Brandon's telling me to fish right with that drop off where it changes color. And that's where I got this, right on the edge there. And just gonna put this here. All right, let's check our other rod. This one might need some bait on it. This is a little bit different rig I have on here. I'll show you. Here's the outfit that I'm using. Got a Fluger reel, and then a Shakespeare rod, graphite rod. And this is just a real ultralight kind of rig, fishing 4-pound test line. And what I like to do with my reels too is because we use, some will put 4, some will put 2, the other ones they have 6 on. On the spool right here, we always mark it. So there we got 4 on there. So I'll show you what I'm fishing with for bait here. I have the egg right here, and I'm going to add one more egg. It's just a gulp. Single hook. Got white egg. Just slide it on there. And then I have the worm. And the worm, that's all they are, is a power bait worms. This particular one is a green one that I'm fishing with. Come in different colors. And again, I just add a little scent on there. Don't need much. And the rig that I have this connected to is a Carolina rig, so I have a sliding sinker. a little swivel so the fish can strike it, run with the bait a little bit and not feel the weight. There we go. Just cast it out there a little bit. And all you do is once it hits the water, let it go to the bottom. You want to wind in some of the slack so you can tell when you're getting hit. And we use these custom branches we find laying around here as a rod holder. As a kid, that was always fun, making your own rod holder. Find a piece of wood on the ground. And that's it. This is like the really easy, simple way to fish for trout. And you can use the same technique down in Southern California or wherever you are in Arizona, your local lake. Same thing works. It doesn't really matter, trout or trout. And if you're going to bait fish, this is a nice, easy way to do it. And there's natural baits you can use too, like night crawlers and stuff like that work. But all around, simplest way, productive way, there's nothing like using the power baits that we're using today. Really nice and simple. They float, they get the bait off the bottom, and all these lakes have a lot of grass on them, so it's nice to have that bait come up off the bottom and really attract the fish. Well, right now we're going to take a little break from the fishing action and go to the tackle box and give you a good look at the fishing tackle that we're using for this type of fishing for rainbow trout. We're up in the high Sierras and we're fishing for trout, both rainbows and browns. We're using a variety of baits. Now, the baits that we're using most of the time are going to be baits like this, power baits, gulp baits, things like that. And the rods and reels for this type of fishing is very, very light. I'm going with an outfit that's rated from 2 to 6 pound test line, just a very light action outfit, a very small reel. You know, we're making some nice casts sometimes, but not that far. So a little reel like this works out good. Just put 4 pound test line as your main line. If you get in a big trophy area, maybe 6 pound. And then on the other end of it, what we're using for leader is very light, 2 pound test line. I know some guys like to use 1 pound. I usually go with 2 pound, works out good. Now the basic rig for this type of fishing is a Carolina rig. And if you're not familiar with the Carolina rig is, it's a very simple system where you have your swivel, a little leader, anywhere from say 14 inches to 2 feet, depending on the depth you're fishing, and then a hook. Right here I have a single hook where I'll use an egg and one of the worms with it too. But you can use a treble hook, single hook, they both work. And a little sliding sinker. You just want a sliding sinker heavy enough to cast out to the area you're going to fish. You don't need a really heavy sinker because you're usually not making long casts. And the way it's designed to work is that that sinker is going to sit on the bottom. Your bait, all the baits that we're using all float. It's going to come up off the bottom a little bit. And when the fish bites, it picks it up. It's going to just slide. Your line's going to slide through the sinker. Fish is going to run with it, and then you set the hook. Just depending on the style of hook you use. If you have a circle hook, you don't have to set the hook, but most of the time you'll be fishing a J-style hook or a small treble hook. You got to set that hook really good. And again, the baits that we have on there are either the gulp eggs work really good. I like to use, put one of those on there. And what I also like to use are the worms. And there's different types of worms, the power bait worms, the gulp worms, they all work. And all we do with these is pull these out of the package, and they come kind of like a long piece, and we just kind of cut them up. Just cut them up in one section, and that would be plenty of worm to use right there. Just real basic fishing. Just kind of let it sit there. And if you have a 2-rod stamp, you can fish with 2 rods. You can throw one with an artificial like a lure, work it back, or you can use 2 bait rods, however you want to do it. Just make sure if you're going to fish with 2 rods, you have a 2-rod stamp. Very important.
What was that, about 1.5 minutes in the water there?
Yeah, I think if your bait's in the water 2 minutes.
Check it. Yeah, make sure it didn't come off.
Probably licked off the bait. Some of them are biting, you know, just as they lay the rod down.
Right. I mean, there's not a lot of time. You know, that's another thing, like I was saying a few minutes ago.
There's a follower.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Another one right behind it.
You know, when fishing with bait up here, if I haven't had a bite in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I generally check my line just to make sure that I didn't lose it, because you know the fishing is generally pretty consistent. That's a nice one.
Oh, that's a bigger one. That's the biggest one of the day.
That's a good one. All right.
Quality fish there. Come on, eat it. There you go. There you go. There you go. He liked what he smelled. I think he was just kind of bumping it with his head, smelling that garlic scent. Trout attraction. See how my line, you can see all that big slack, that means there's a fish hitting it. There's a fish there. So I'm just going to wind down a little bit. Come on, swallow it. There we go. That fish got it. That fish got it. All right. There we go. We got really light line, you know, just fishing straight 4-pound. Lots of times we'll fish 2-pound leader. Brandon says there's some nicer fish in here, some browns and stuff. So fishing straight 4-pound. And on this one, you know, I'm not even fishing a Carolina rig. I just have a little split shot, just enough to cast it out there. Nice fish right here. Nice and easy. Beautiful little rainbow there, Brandon.
That's nice.
These are nice fish. These are the same size fish that we got on the river, maybe a little bit bigger.
Yeah, they're looking a little bit bigger on average.
Nice little rainbow. Yeah, this fish is actually bigger than what we were catching on the river. Quality fish. Yeah, this one swallowed it. Well, we're going to keep some of these to eat anyways. Oh, there it is. Beautiful rainbow trout. There, I got one. See, you'll bite it and get a double going.
I'm working on it. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, double.
Oh, look at that one jump.
Jump too.
There we go. Oh, buddy.
Double. I'll leave my fish right here.
Here comes the other one.
Oh, yours is
That's
way
a nice
bigger
one.
than mine. That's a beautiful fish. That is a beautiful fish. That's a big fish.
Nice.
Yeah. Here's mine. That is awesome. A
See if
double.
you can release that guy. We'll let him go.
Okay.
Get a little bigger.
This guy's barely hooked.
There we go. Another nice rainbow.
Okay, here. This one. I'm gonna release this guy right now. He's not hurt at all.
The technique that I'm using that's a little different than what Dan's using is what they call a bubble and fly. This is a real popular setup here in the Sierras. You tie on a little bobber, swivel, about 6 feet a leader. And at the end of it, you can tie on any type of artificial fly. I'm using a little gray bead head, an olive matuka, woolly buggers. They work well. Mosquitoes are probably the most popular. But what works well is when there are mosquitoes, when the bugs are hatching, you tie the mosquitoes on. But this bubble and fly technique is one of the most popular ways to fish up here in the Sierra. So let's see if I can get a fish. Which I will, because I just had another bite. All right, I'm fishing with a bubble and fly technique. It's one of the popular ways to fish up here. You tie on a little bobber, some leader, and an artificial fly of choice, and just cast and retrieve. Here we go. Another nice sized fish. There we go. So there's my first trout to Dan's 10th. However, I wanted to let everybody know some other techniques you can use up here. This is a beautiful fish. This was actually born and raised in the lake trout. You can tell by the fins, the white tips on the edge of the fins, how none of them have been chewed up or eaten by fish in in the hatchery. So this fish is a 100% intact, born in this lake. Rainbow. See that? All right, we're gonna let him go, and he was ready to go before I did. All right.
Congratulations. There we go. I got him that time. Yeah, they just stack up there on that inlet, huh?
Right. Yep. Right out here in front.
There you go. Perfect. Oh, this is a nicer one. Well, you brought us to the right lake, man.
Yep. Oh yeah. Can't go wrong here.
Yeah, this one ate it good. All right, beautiful rainbow. So we're trying to catch, look at that. That is a big fish. Beautiful fish, he's gonna taste great. There's so much water up here, I mean, between rivers and lakes and streams. And
I've said in my lifetime, I will never get to do everything I'd like to do up here. You look at the topo maps at all the lakes out here in the backcountry, and you know, living up here, I won't be able to do everything I'd like to do. But I sure will try, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. And you go hike in some of these lakes and go fish you tell me about.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Some of the best fishing up here is lakes where not the average person can drive up to, 2 to 3 hour hikes, and just some of the most beautiful natural trout.
A lot of goldens and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you get deep enough, you'll find the golden trout. There are a few lakes you can drive to, but they're fished pretty hard, and you might catch some small ones.
And you can do it all in one day. I mean, you could sample it all in one day if you wanted to.
Oh, exactly. You can go fish Crowley Lake for 2 hours. You could then fish the Owens River for a couple hours. You could have lunch, come up here, fish an upper elevation lake, and if you're really ambitious, you could hike out a couple miles out to some of the deeper backcountry lakes and fish in the afternoon, and then come home and have dinner. So there's a lot to do in one day, and there's a lot of opportunities and ways to fish up here in the Sierras.
If you wanted to get some of the more exotic fish, the brook trout, I know the golden trout you have to go backpack, but the brook trout, and what else is up here that people can get?
The most prominent species up here, the rainbow trout, the brook trout, the brown trout, and the cutthroat. The more elusive is the golden trout. But you can catch all 5 of these different fish up here. Generally, most of the local lakes are stocked with the rainbow trout, and they have some natural brown trout that come down from the higher elevation lakes. The brook trout, all of the high elevation lakes have a fair abundance of brook trout. The golden trout, it's more of an elusive trout. There's a lot of places you've got to hike into and go deep into some really high elevation lakes to catch the golden trout.
And the German, the browns are just kind of...
They're in most waters. They tend to have some different patterns than the rainbows do as far as their feeding habits are concerned. Their spawning season is a different time of year. A lot of guys come out here and they target the browns by using different techniques. They're in all the waters pretty much. You'll find brown trout, and you'll generally find some really big brown trout. And like I said, there are fishermen that come up here that's their sole purpose, is to find and catch those brown trout. With the type of fishing we're doing with the bait and the power bait, you can catch the browns. We can catch them on lures. You still can get any of these fish using the techniques that we're doing.
I think next time we got to bring a barbecue and we'll do the cooking segment in between
right
catching
here.
fish.
Actually, you know, great story.
Clean one and then...
That's what, when on a backpacking trip, we went out into the backcountry, and the goal was to see how quickly we could make fresh fish. So we would, whoop, fish on. I'll finish that story here in a second.
So what would you guys do?
Oh, we would catch the fish, put them out, clean them, have the pan going with the butter on it, have the fish on in less than 2 minutes, from water to pan. Eat it in about, I think 7.5 minutes was the record.
Oh, we got a fish going here. If we had the hot pan, we could do that.
Exactly. We'd be eating fish in 7 minutes.
Another trout.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this might be a bigger one. Man, they're all nice sized fish here.
And this one was on the worm and the power eggs.
Yeah, red eggs with the green worm. You can just barely see the worm sticking out of his mouth. It's a beautiful fish. Nice, beautiful fish. He swallowed it pretty good. I'm gonna take this fish home, cook him at home. I want to talk to you a little bit about the bait I'm using here at the lake. Both Brandon and I had lots of success today using the power bait, and the hot color was this one, the garlic, the green. Another bait I was using was the gulp, and using the red and the white eggs. And then on top of that, I also had a worm. And I was using the green worm and the red worms. They both work good. And then on top of that, just some of the trout attractant, the power bait. Just put a little daub on that, and it worked out really nice. And just a very simple technique. You know, this week's tip would be bring a wide selection of all these baits, because you never know. They might be on the orange, they might be on the rainbow color on the power baits. You got to bring a selection with you all the time. In this next segment, we're going to cover some of the techniques for trolling for trout. And we're going to be doing it at one of the most famous lakes in the Eastern Sierras, Lake Crawley. Well, we're in Lake Crawley up here in the beautiful Eastern Sierras, and fishing with me today is Brandon. Hey, Brandon.
Hello.
And Gary. Thanks, Gary, for being out with us.
You bet, Dan.
Gary's a fly fishing guide. He owns his own store down in Bishop, California. It's a fly specialty store, and he also does guide service too. And today he's going to take us out here at Lake Crawley. We're not going to necessarily fly fish, but we'll show you different techniques so you can come out here, even if you've never fished up here before, and catch some fish. We're going to be catching trout today. Maybe even a perch or two, who knows, right?
Oh, that's good eats too.
Okay, well right now we're at 17 feet. We're gonna troll around 10 to 20 feet for the majority of the day. Or at least to see how that goes initially. And then we're using right now Thomas Buoyant lure, gold and red, and we've got Rapalas. Those have been two of the hot lures. There's the Tasmanian Devil we might try for some browns. But not much to the technique. We've got lead core line. We're sinking about 2 to 3 colors, 10 plus feet, and well, hopefully we'll get hooked up here shortly. That's a good one.
Put in neutral.
Yeah, we're in neutral.
Perfect. Are we in neutral?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Hey, Brandon's on one. First fish of the day.
This one hit well.
Oh yeah? Let me get my line out of the way. What were you trolling?
This is the Thomas Buoyant, the red and gold Thomas Buoyant.
Okay.
Nice, hook up the net. Yeah, about 2.5 colors in about 20 feet of water. Good way to start the morning.
We haven't been trolling very long.
No.
So the majority of the fish we're going to hook here are going to be rainbows, and there's occasional brown trout.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got occasional cutthroats as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, you basically have browns, cutthroats, Pullmans, and Hamlins.
All right.
Well, you got a long leader on there.
Yeah, this one's really long.
Nice fish.
Oh yeah.
Nice fish. Time to pop. What a...
Oop. There you go.
All right.
All right.
What a toad.
Bring them up.
There we go. Nice fish, Brandon.
Yep, that's a great way to start the day.
That's a beautiful
Plenty
fish.
more in here.
Nice rainbow.
All right, for the first fish of the day, we're using a red and gold Thomas Buoyant. This is a real hot lure here on Crowley. Let's get back in the water and get some more.
Well, how come that's the hot lure and I'm not using it? That's what I want to know. If it was such a hot lure, how come there's only one in the water?
Well, I got to catch some fish first, and then we'll let you use the hot lure.
But this is the fish he caught. Beautiful rainbow trout. This should be a great eater. Nice rainbow. Just a wonderful way to start off the day.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
We've only been fishing for about 10 minutes. We got this beautiful rainbow. I just got one. I know it feels like a miracle, but I got one. I'm using my own lure.
I told you, they had some good color on it. I wouldn't stray you the wrong way.
Huh. Must be small, it's not running like yours did.
Well, it's because I have one.
Oh, it's a perch.
It is a perch. Oh yeah, perfect.
Oh, it is.
A perch. Never caught a perch trolling before. There he is right here, you can see him right here.
These are good eating though. You
Nice size.
You just need like 20 of them.
Let's put that puppy on the stringer.
Oh yeah.
These are Sacramento perch?
Yeah.
Yep.
So you got them on a trolling lure. Just a little hard bait lure there. Cool. In this next segment, I'm going to talk a little bit about stream fishing. And with stream fishing is how I learned how to trout fish as a little kid. You know, every summer our family would go up the Eastern Sierras for a week vacation. And I like to wake up in the morning, grab my rod and reel, and just walk along the little riverbeds and cast out my baits. Back then, I learned how to catch fish using artificial baits, natural baits. We're gonna cover some of that right now here on this DVD on how to catch rainbow trout. Well, welcome back. And we made a move. Crowley Lake is right over here to my right. We're off the lake now, and what we are is at the Owens River. We're at the north end of the Owens River, and this is the river right here. You see it's all around us here that feeds into Lake Crowley. And what we're gonna do right now is fish the afternoon here. We got a few fish there at Lake Crowley. The wind picked up, so we got off there. Went, had lunch, came back, and now we're back here at the river. And I'm still fishing with Shakespeare. This is an ultralight outfit, Shakespeare reel, Medalist reel, and the bait I'm using is the gulp eggs with the power bait worm. That's what this is here. And this is what the power bait worm looks like in the packaging. Just have it on here. So I have a few different colors with me. I'm gonna start off with white, and then I got some other lures and baits that I can try too. And all we're gonna do is just all this fast moving water around here. We're just gonna work these baits and let it flow along the river and see if we can find some trout. Now, we still have Gary with us. Brandon's over there. Some of them are gonna throw flies. Some are throwing other artificials. I think Brandon's got like a spinner lure or those type of lures with them, hard lure. And then I'm gonna try this. There's one, I got one. Fish on! First cast. There we go, and there's that bait. And he swallowed the egg that I had on there, but he went for that worm really good. And this is the little one, so we're gonna go ahead and release this one. There we go. There he goes. That's real simple. Let me put on another egg really quick. So I'm gonna take the worm off. And this is the egg, using the gulp eggs, the white. That was so fast. That was just the first cast. I'm just gonna take the egg and slide it right on here onto the hook. And I'm going to use the same power bait worm that I got this last fish on. Just like that. Just want a little bit of the barb exposed. And that's it. Let's see if I can get another one, same spot. So I'm just going to throw it up here in the fast moving water up in front and just let that bait come all the way back to me. I was thinking I was going to get bit over here as it went away, but the bait never got to me. The fish was all over it. So I'm just going to work this back again. Here we go, got another one. Second fish here, same spot. Oh, this is a little bit nicer fish. Nicer fish. There he is, right there. I'm just using the worm, the power worm, with the gulp egg. Three casts, 2 fish. Here, get this fish in the net. There we go. Nice rainbow. This one devoured it. We're gonna go ahead and keep this one. We need a couple fish anyways for the cooking segment. It's a beautiful rainbow trout. And again, just fishing the same baits, using the Berkeley products and the gulp, worked out really good. That power bait egg with the gulp egg with the power bait worm worked out really good. It's just a beautiful little fish.
Cool. That time I got something. All right.
Where'd you get that one on, Gary?
Red and gold Thomas Boyant.
Nice fish.
Nice fish.
Now, what part of the river is this that you have us on now? I know there's different rules here.
It's actually considered the wild trout section of the Upper Owens, which is above the Benton Crossing Bridge. And the regulations are a 2-fish limit, artificial barbeless only, and a 16-inch maximum. So we can keep this one, if I can keep a hold of it. Come back here, Bubba. So, not a bad little stalker.
All right, so we can get another one.
We're now fishing the Upper Owens River. It flows into Crowley Lake where we were fishing earlier, so we've just gone upriver to fish the Owens. This river is just loaded with fish. I'm right now using a bubble and fly, a little midge imitation fly to try to catch the fish. We've already caught a couple of, oop, there we go, got one. Not a big fish, but it's like a little, look at that little guy. Little brown trout. If I hold this up really close, it might look a little bigger. Anyways, real pretty little fish. Well, we just started. I just threw the line out, so we'll see what we can catch. We'll let this little guy go. All right.
You know, when you're rainbow trout fishing, there's lots of ways to fish them on a lake. You can be on shore, you can be in a float tube, you can even be in a boat. And the same thing's true with rivers. You can fish from shore or one of the popular ways to fish for them is on a drift boat. In this next segment, we're going to show you how to catch rainbow trout using a drift boat. Well, today we got something totally different for you. We're going to be floating down the Owens River, and guiding us today is Gary from Brock's Fly Fishing Store here in Bishop, California. And also with us is Brandon. He's our webmaster, guy responsible for the look of our website, does a great job, the operation of it. And what Gary has in store for us is we're going to go on this drift boat, go down the river with this beautiful backdrop, look for trout, hopefully rainbows, maybe a brown trout. You never know what to expect. Might be some other fish in there too. We'll be throwing artificials, different grubs, power baits, gulp baits, big variety of stuff, and show you a wide selection of ways to catch fish here in the Owens Valley.
All right, I'm on.
Oh yeah, rainbow.
Cool.
First fish.
Got the skunk off the boat.
First stop, first fish.
There we go.
All right.
Perfect. Nice little rainbow.
What kind of lure is that?
This is the Thomas Buoyant red and gold. There we go. Little red and gold Thomas Buoyant. Nice little rainbow. All right, let's get it on the stringer.
I got one going right now. Brandon's using a hard bait. I'm using a gulp bait and a power worm. And hopefully I have another rainbow. Yeah, it looks like a rainbow there, Gary.
All right.
There he is
Oh
out
yeah.
there.
It's a nice size.
Yeah.
Oh, I just got a bump.
May not have to move the boat.
Works for me. I just roll up stream 100 yards and we'll be going home.
There we go. Nice rainbow trout.
Cool.
Thank you. And you can see the bait we're using here. This is one of the worms, power worms. And then I had a gulp white egg on there too. Beautiful little fish. Barely hooked. Look at that. Just fell off.
On the way.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and make another cast in here and see if we can get another fish.
Brandon's been using a red and gold Thomas Buoyant 1/4 ounce T102 and dipping it in Berkeley's power bait dip, and which I'm a firm believer of when it comes to lures. Works very well. It's a corn flavored. And Dan over there, he's bouncing a power grub and a power egg down the river and doing quite well with it. And basically the egg is supposed to the worm portion is attached to the egg, and it's supposed to be some sort of slime sack coming off of it, and it seems to be working very well. And he's using white and working quite well. I'm quite impressed so far.
I'm on again.
All right.
All right. Hey, I told you. Power bait, top bait.
Go. Whoa.
Oh, okay, double.
Oh!
Double. Double on the Owens.
Much balance.
Okay.
If perchance it's both jockeys, all you got to do is grab them off that bullhorn. Hold it in.
Got it. There you go. There's one. Ready?
Yeah.
All right. Get him off. Got it. Dan, get his, yeah.
Yeah, there comes mine. I'll bring them on that side.
Okay. Right. Probably a good idea. Oh yeah.
All right, cool.
Dude.
Double. Woo! That was pretty easy.
Works for me.
Yeah, I like it when they're easy
Yeah.
like this. This is fun. Okay, that's 2 quick rainbows. That's actually, what, 4 on this spot.
Right.
And first spot of the day. We haven't gotten more than 100 yards at the most. So we're gonna keep working this spot. So Gary, the outfit I'm using right now is a 4-pound test line. This seems really adequate for this. You really don't need to go lighter. Just using an ultralight outfit here, Shakespeare, working fine rod and reel.
Oh, come here, Bubba.
There we go. And they like these worms.
Nope, I'm on. Whoa. This one's got a little more to it, I think. Oh. There we go.
That fish is
Ready?
water skied in.
Right
Oh,
on.
nice fish.
That's a good one.
Very respectable.
I got you underneath there, didn't I, buddy?
I was thinking about trying a different color egg, but why change what's working, right?
Right,
That's
if you're catching a fish every cast practically,
Yeah, why
there's not
change
much
it?
more, unless you think you can put 2 on one line and catch 2 at a time.
And now with 1 hook.
Yeah.
There he goes, he's back. There he is. That time he just came up and kind of licked my power bait. And I pulled it a little too early and left it there, and he came back and jumped all over it. Yeah, just let that float back there, Brent. No, don't worry about it. I got it. It's right here. Get it way back there. This guy doesn't want to come.
Get out of there, Bubba.
Yeah, it looks like a little brown. Get him. Is it a little brown? Yeah, it is.
Cool. Oh, you each got a brown. Oh, come back here.
Cool. That's beautiful. Little brown trout. We're gonna go ahead and release this guy.
Yeah, he's right on the end of the nose. Here, you want me to do it?
Let's see if I can do it gently. Yeah, that was a circle hook. That was a worm with the 2 eggs. Here, let's put them in the net. Can let them go there. It's still in good shape. Yeah. There he goes. There he goes. Here I am in the fighting chair. We got another fish going here. Got another fish going on the eggs and the worm. A little stock rainbow. Little bounce job. You can still see the eggs in there. Just spit one out. So you can get this hook out of there. There it comes. There she goes. Little rainbow. There you go, Brandon.
Nice. Oh, little guy. That's a nice brown.
Another brown?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
that's a good one. Look at that brown.
Oh, there goes the
There
lure.
goes that treble hook.
Beautiful brown trout.
Wow, let me take a look at that guy.
That's a
Wow,
bonus.
that's beautiful. Look at that fish. That's nice.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Go ahead and release this guy. He looks like he's in great shape. Just gonna let him go out of the net. It's another nice thing about having these rubber nets. It doesn't hurt him. There he goes. You got another one going here, Gary.
Cool.
Just fishing that same white worm and white egg.
Seems to be working.
Yeah, that gulp egg I think is like the big key to that. There he is right here. Nice little rainbow. See the egg there, just dangling on the line. All right, cool. Boy, he swallowed it pretty good. All right.
That looks like a.
Is that a brown? Yeah.
Looks like a brown.
All right, Brandon.
Now, do we need to show you how to get that in the net here?
That's a brown. All right.
Oh!
Brown trout.
What do
Look
we
how
got there?
beautiful that is.
Let me see that hook. What is that? Oh yeah, what's the hook on it? They came out. Uh-huh, yeah, uh-huh.
He's got a barbless hook, that's why. It's that beautiful brown trout. That is cool. Nice fish.
Good job.
Yeah, beautiful.
Let it go?
Yeah, let's let that guy go.
Okay, thank you.
There he goes.
There you go.
Here we go. This might be my biggest fish of the day. Oh man, that's a nice one.
Nice one, you bet.
Yep. He just sucked up those eggs in that worm. This light gear, this is fun. There he is right there. All right. Woo! Biggest fish of the day.
All right.
Yeah, that's how you do it. That is a beautiful, beautiful fish.
Cool.
And just got him with this really small hook using the same baits I've been using all day. That is this fish is going home with me. This is a beautiful fish. Look at that rainbow. That is gorgeous. That is gorgeous. It's nice. Thanks, Brandon.
No problem, Dan.
It was a lot of fun being out here. You got one going?
Oh yeah, I got a fish right now.
Well, I want to thank you for hosting us. We had a great time. It's just been wide open fishing here.
Ooh.
There you go, another fish. That's a nice fish. On the worm. I think I made you a believer of these power bait worms.
They were.
That is a nice quality fish.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right.
Well, thanks again, man. We just had a great time. Hope all of you at home enjoyed this week's episode. And like we talked about, just so many great memories being out here fishing with family. And it's always nice to be out here with friends. Just thanks again. Had a great time.
My pleasure. Anytime, come back again.
I'll
There's
be
a
back.
lot more to do up here.
Yeah, so many other bodies of water that, you know, even living up here, I'm sure you won't hit all the lakes
Never
and
will.
rivers.
In my lifetime, I'll never cover what I'd like to.
Yeah, there's just so many spots here.
In this DVD, we try to cover all the basics so that you can go out there and catch that first rainbow trout. You know, we covered everything from lake fishing, river fishing, even showed you how to drift boat and catch rainbow trout. And don't be afraid about where you live around the country. All these techniques will work. The same rigs, the same baits will catch trout anywhere in the country. Well, I hope you enjoyed this DVD. And to find out about all our DVDs for all types of different fishing, visit my website at sport-fishing.com. You can see all our products there. Well, thanks again for watching my TV show. And if you want to keep up to date with everything we're up to, sign up for our fan page on Facebook and sign up for our free newsletter on our website. Well, thanks again for picking up this DVD. I hope to see you out in the water really soon.
We're in the home of our guide, Gary. He's kind enough to let us use his kitchen. And standing next to me is Justin. He came all the way up from Southern California to cook us up a dish. What do you have in store for us?
We got a whole deep fried trout we're gonna do today, Dan. We're just gonna, we filleted it partially. We're gonna season it with a little salt.
And this is one of the trout we caught today with Gary.
Yeah, one of the nice fresh trout that you guys got to the boat. So we're just gonna hit it with a little salt, a little pepper. And then Dan brought some of his nice batter for us to use. We're going to use this to season a little bit on the outside, help crisp up the skin.
Now, is this normal the way you kind of cut it? Because I've seen butterfly cuts different styles.
This will be nice because after we deep fry the whole dish, it'll kind of flare out a little bit. We can kind of French it out if we want to serve it that way or not. So we'll come over. We got it battered. And we'll slide it into the oil right here. It'll take a couple minutes. Trout is a really delicate meat. People tend to overcook it. I mean, this thing was just pulled out of the water a few hours ago, so
Right.
I would say don't kill it by any means. It's already dead.
Right.
And we just kind of add a little oil over it. Yeah, we just want a nice light coating. It's going to help crisp up that skin. We want the skin to crisp up. That's a nice texture element of the fish. And then we'll have that nice moist fillet in the middle. So we definitely don't want to overcook it. I think your batter really helps crisp up the skin and give it nice texture.
That's a nice way to use the batter. A lot of people think when you use our batter, you have to go ahead and make it into a thick batter like for fish tacos.
Right.
But this is the way I like to use it a lot.
Yeah, you know, some people would use cornstarch in this application, but I think your batter actually has more flavor, so it's adding an element of flavor to it as well. So we started the oil about 375. That should help recover the cold trout going in there, and it's just to crisp up the skin and cook the meat through, and we're just about there. And there's the trout. Nice shot of the trout. We'll bring it over to the plate.
Yeah, it's just kind of falling apart. You can tell it's cooked nicely.
So we finished with a little lemon. We toss a little cilantro on there to make it look pretty. We've served it with Dan's sweet and spicy sauce.
This is the sauce you're using?
Right here.
And this was the batter that you used just to coat it with?
Yep, we just did that to crisp the skin and give it a little extra flavor.
Okay, well, I have to try this.
All right.
Oh, that fish looks good. Dip a little bit. That is delicious.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Justin.
All right, thank you, Dan.
This is a great, simple dish. And I could see this being like a centerpiece if you landed a really big trout.
Yeah, if you got that 3-pounder to the boat or something, 4-pounder.
Yeah, that is so good.
All right.
Well, thanks a lot, Justin, for coming out.
Thanks a lot, Dan.
We're still up here in Bishop, California. We're at the kitchen and actually the house of our guide, Gary. Standing next to me is Justin. He's been kind enough to come up from Southern California, cook us up some fish. And what do you have in store for us, Justin?
We got some nice trout that you caught here
We
today.
caught
Dan.
today.
We're pretty psyched about it. We've done a little fillet here. We've deboned it. We're going to cut it up here and just do a couple small pieces. And we've got some Dan Hernandez batter right here. We're going to do a crispy trout salad. I've done a few julienne vegetables that consist of bell peppers. We've got some snow peas, and we've got some julienne romaine in there as well. And we're going to toss it in a nice yuzu orange vinaigrette.
So you're going to use this trout with my batter and turn it into a whole salad?
That's correct.
Sounds cool.
So we've got some batter here. We're going to go over to the fryer. Drop a few pieces in here. So we've got the julienne vegetables. We made a nice little vinaigrette here. We've got some orange juice, shallots, a little ginger, a touch of garlic, a touch of yuzu, which is a Japanese citrus. Let's give a nice little toss here.
And that's what you use for your dressing?
Yes, sir. We'll plate here on this nice plate and do it like a nice family style.
That looks so pretty. And you have bell peppers, everything all mixed into
Bell
this?
peppers, snow peas, carrots, all real finely julienned, and a little romaine.
Cool. Well, this fish isn't going to take long to cook.
No, it's really quick. When we're frying small pieces of trout like this, we want to look for the golden color. We want to see it. It's going to curl just a little bit, and it's pretty much done now. It's not going to take very long. And then we're going to drain it here. I like to always hit my fried foods with a little bit of salt as soon as it comes out of the fryer. And there we have it. Fill up some of the trout right on top, a little bit around.
That looks good.
All right.
And this is our finished dish, or will we do anything more to this?
We've got a little bit of cilantro here just to put it on the top, make it nice and pretty.
That's beautiful. little
Crispy
dish.
trout salad.
And the only other ingredient we really had in there, other than Justin, was my fish
There's
batter.
your fish batter.
And-
Works great with trout.
Yeah, it works fine. Well, Justin, I got to try this. This
All
looks so good. Salad with fish. That is really good.
All right.
Beautiful, simple dish. Anybody can do this at home.
It's just vegetables, a little lettuce. You know, your batter works fantastic for the trout. It's real quick, simple. What we maybe 15, 20 minutes of prep time. There you go.
And I really like the way you use our batter and the way you fried it. You know, you didn't over fry it. And I always tell people the fish is already did. You don't need to overcook it.
Right.
And that's just really good. That's really delicious. Thanks a lot, Justin.
Thanks a lot, Dan.